Hello, how are you? It's Jeannie. I am doing a first here, and that is reviewing a book for our kind of first official ASMR book club that was started by Kim from Angel on My Shoulder. If you don't follow her, check her out. She's a doll. I adore her. And oops, I just kicked my camera. I don't care. I'm not going to go back and edit unless something really big happens. Anyway, she started this book club suggesting that we all ASMR artists read the same book and do a review on it at the end of the month, on the last day of the month. And she picked out the book for this month, Mind Games by Nora Roberts. And so it's like, why not? I read a lot anyway, and I thought I'd give it a shot. So, a couple things. If you are interested in doing this, if you're an ASMR artist and you want to be a part of this, let me know or let Kim know. And, we'll get you registered in the club, collect your dues, have you fill out the paperwork and blood sample and, yeah, all that. No, just let us know. And next month's book is The Women by Kristen Hanna. I love Kristen Hanna. She's got some good books out as well. While I am on today, I'm also going to review 3 candies that I picked up at the store because I couldn't resist. Now, I don't eat candy very much. I love candy, don't get me wrong, but I don't need the sugar, and I kind of gave up sugar, but once in a while, the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, it's going, oh, you want that candy? You want that candy, Jeannie? And I'll indulge because, yeah, I just will, because I deserve it. So I'm going to show you these 3 candies, but I'll do that after this review of Mind Games. So, I have dark lipstick on today. I don't usually wear this dark of lipstick. I didn't see the color I was putting on the other side of the room because it's kind of dark. So, okay. So, Mind Games. When it comes to Nora Roberts, I've kind of quit on Nora Roberts because I'm not into love stories per se. I need a lot more, I don't want formulaic romances. I don't have time for that. If I'm going to give my eyeball time to something, I want it to be a little more substantial, have a little more meat with it. So, I was pleasantly surprised with this book. Yes, it did have a love story, and I'm going to go over this, and I'm going to tell you right now, there will be spoilers. I'm going to give away the plot, the whodunits, so if you want to read the book, but you don't want to have any spoilers, stop now, or go to the end and get my candy review. So this was different, I think, than what I had expected out of Nora Roberts. And I know she's a good writer and a very prolific writer. It starts off, I made some notes here, about this young brother and sister being taken to their grandma's house in Kentucky and spending several weeks with her. Dropped off by their parents, and they just love spending time on her farm and, having the country life in this small little town in this old country farmhouse. And her mom and dad go back, and, they're going to do some things without the kids there. It reminded me of when I was a kid. My mom and dad used to take us up to my aunt and uncle's in Stony Ford, California, and I don't know if any of you know where that is. And my brother and I would I thought we spent months there. It was just a couple of weeks, maybe a month, maybe 1 month. My mom was working on her master's at that point, and it was a 900-acre ranch, and we loved it. Anyway, these kids go there, Thea and her brother Rem. Anyway, the parents go home and leave them there, and they are murdered. The parents are murdered. Well, Thea, while she was sleeping, actually saw this in her dream. She was actually there. She was projected. She watched the guy break into the house, Riggs, I think his name was, break into the house, go upstairs, shoot the father while he slept, and then threaten the mother to get the safe code, combination code from her, and then he shot her too. Well, while he was doing this, Thea, the little girl, 12 years old, saw it. She was able to see this with her mind in excellent detail. Well, when the bad guy, the killer, Riggs, went to the mirror and was going through some stuff on the dresser, he looked in the mirror and he could feel her looking at him. But also, because he looked in the mirror, she could see his face. It was like she was seeing out of his eyes. So it was really bizarre, really bizarre. She had this projection ability. Well, she woke up screaming, and she ran into her grandmother's room thinking she had just had the nightmare of all nightmares. Well, it turns out her grandmother was up and crying as well. She had the same dream, but it wasn't a dream. It was a vision. And so she grabbed her. Her name was Lucy. Lucy grabs her granddaughter and consoles her, and she said, I know what you saw. You have the sight. So she calls the police, the local police, and I guess she was known in her village, her town, her little town, for having these psychic abilities, this vision. And they knew not to even question her. She said, I need you to call somebody and go check on this family. And it was somewhere in, I think, Virginia. So they did. They found the two bodies. Well, the detectives came the next day. And they said, yes, they were dead, just how you said. Now tell us how you knew. Well, Lucy, the grandma, said, now you know I've had this sight, but so does my granddaughter. And Thea explained to them exactly what she saw. And at first they thought perhaps she was in on it, some conniving plan, some plot. And to prove that she truly did see it, that, she wasn't in on some plot to have her parents killed. She looked at each man and started telling him things about himself. Things from their childhood, things from their marriage, scars on their bodies that they got when they were 10, things like that. Things she could not have known. And so they realized, this is the real deal. This girl has a gift. So she lets them know where this guy not only is, but the car he stole their car, but the car he drove there in, the gun he used, where he was staying, in what motel he had pulled up in. And they were able to immediately arrest him. And because of her, they found out that he had killed other people as well. Because she was able to get into his mind and see not only who he had killed, but his motivation. He was evil. I mean, this really is a story of good versus evil. And she was able to see him do these things and his thinking and justification for it. So they lock him up. And because she was able to give such great evidence in terms of, his, details about their murder as well as other murders, he was sent away to a maximum security, given a couple life sentences. He was never going to be out. So, her grandmother does a really good job at trying to normalize the lives of Thea and her brother Rem. She kept them, she raised them because that's what her parents wanted. I guess the father's parents couldn't care less about these kids, so they got to stay with the grandma. And she provided a wonderful family home for them. Okay. So they go to school, they go to high school, things, life is quote unquote normal. A couple of times I don't know what the word is, telepathically transported herself, her mind, to his prison. And she was able to see his lockup situation. The thing is he had this gift as well. And he saw her. And so, because he saw her, he knew her. And he knew that she had seen him that night he killed her parents. And so he began this vendetta of trying to get to her. Okay. So, she learned, thanks to her grandmother, how to shut him out, because now he knows her. She opened a portal between the two of them, and he would try to come and get her at night, with his mind. And sometimes he was able to break through, and so her grandmother showed her some techniques, in kind of like closing a mental window. But he was getting stronger and able to kind of get through this window. Well, she goes off to college, Thea does, and she's done very well in like computer sciences, and she actually is called upon by those two detectives to help them solve another case, and so she does. But when she does that, it weakens her, and it not only opens that window, but it really opens her to being vulnerable. And so she helps solve another murder. I'll leave a few tidbits for you. Anyway, she becomes a gamer, a game designer. She knows how to code, and she's been thinking up this this online computer game and all these things, and it becomes a huge hit. So she and Rem, her brother, live with her grandmother, of course, and there is a woman, an older woman in a nearby farm who knows she's going to pass on, and she wants to sell her property. I think it's 10 acres. And so she sells it to Thea and her brother, and they subdivide it into 5 acres each. And so they're right down the road from their grandmother, which is really nice. And she builds her house, and she's able to work from home and continue her gaming, her game design, and she's a big hit in the gaming world. Well, the woman who passed away and had sold them the property had a grandson who, and here's where the love interest comes in. He shows up one day, and his name is Ty. Ty, what's his name? I wrote his name down. He shows up one day. Oh, maybe I didn't write. No, didn't write his name down. Ty. Maybe it was Tyler, but Ty. And it turns out he is in a rock band that, and a guitar player, kind of big hotshot that she had idolized since she was 16, 15 years old. And it turns out to be him. Well, he moves into his grandmother's house, and he's got a little boy, 4 years old, 3, 4 years old. His name is, what was his name? Bray. And so she and Ty, Thea and Ty, hit it off. And she admits, oh, I had the biggest crush on you. It would be like me meeting Jimmy Page. Oh, I loved him so much. Anyway, a romance starts up there. Now, she never tells him she has this, this gift, this sight. And he is a very paranoid rock star for good reasons. I mean, groupies, constantly throwing themselves, at him, trying to get information, this, that, and the other. Anyway, one day, the little boy who she has just become so attached to, and he has become very attached to her, is looking for some toy, a little dump truck or something. And he's really despondent. He can't find this thing. And so Thea, not even thinking, just tells him where it is. Hey, did you look in this trunk in your daddy's office? And da-da-da-da-da. And she's cooking breakfast. Well, Ty is like, how did you know that was there? Have you been in my office while I haven't been here? Because you've never been in that office while I've been here. So you must be sneaking in and going through my stuff, my personal stuff. That trunk is full of my papers. And so they have this huge blow up. He kicks her out, and, anyway, she's brokenhearted. It actually made me tearful because when she got home, her grandmother came over, and she said, honey, I felt your heart breaking, and I haven't felt something that strong. And it was kind of a poignant, sad moment. Anyway, I've been fighting something in my left eye all day. She offers to go over there and try to explain, and Thea tells her, no, stay out of it. No. In the meantime, Riggs, the bad guy, the evil guy, has been trying to get to her, and he sees things that happen in her life, and his voice will be there. See, you're just a no good, blah blah blah. He doesn't want anything to do with you, and he taunts her, and it's getting harder and harder for her to keep him out. So you see his power ramping up. Well, she designs this mental video game in her mind, computer game, whatever you call them. And she invites him in, or rather, she just leaves the window open and he comes in. Well, he's never been in these Lara Croft situations. And she kicks his butt, Actually, she lets the video kick his butt. Plants kill him, snakes kill him, but he has lives that regenerate. Anyway, it beat him up in such a way that it kept him at bay for a long time. And, but, it didn't last. Well, in the meantime, Ty's little boy, Bray, goes missing, and he ends up at Thea's house, of course. So, and it's cold. I think it's like late fall, early winter. And so Thea wraps him up and takes him over to the house and, brings him there. And his daddy is just, so relieved, of course. But she leaves. It doesn't say anything. Well, he later brings the wrap back that she had wrapped her little boy up in. I guess he's in school. And he brings it back and says, "Thank you for bringing my son home. Just give me the key to my house and I'll leave you alone and you leave me alone and we'll go our separate ways and, I'm going to move. I'm going to leave." Anyway, she says, my memory card was full. I had to fix that. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so he's at her house, and, she tells him, "I don't have a key. I don't have a key to your house. Here's what happened. I saw that little toy. I saw that in my mind." And he, "Oh, yeah, you're a psychic?" "I guess if that's what you call it," she said. So she explained that to him. And at first, of course, he was doubtful. But then she talked about some scar he had on his hip, how he got that, who he was with at 10 years old. Nobody could have known that. And she told him some other things, too. And it just all started coming out, everything. And so he's just sitting there dumbfounded. Like, what? And it's all starting to come together for him. Well, he decides, I love you. I want, if that truly is the case, and clearly it is, I want to make another go of this. And she says, "I just need time," because she was, broken hearted. So I wrote some notes here. Let's making sure I'm getting everything. Well, in the meantime, the bad guy is getting stronger. He's recovered from that, getting his butt kicked in her mental video game, and he's coming back at her, and he's coming back hard and strong, and she tells Ty, her boyfriend, about it. And so, well, she decides that she's going to deal with this guy once and for all. And she goes visit. She calls the two detectives who she has helped out. They know her abilities. And she said, "I want to meet with him." And they pull some strings and allow her to meet with him. I guess there's like a half hour every Sunday and he's never had a visitor because he's just some decrepit, evil human being. And so her brother and her grandmother are against it. They're like, don't do it. She said, "Nope, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to break him once and for all." And so Ty, her boyfriend, says, "I know I can't come in there with you, but I'm going to drive you, and I will be outside waiting for you, loving you, caring for you, wishing you all the best." So she goes to the prison, and there he is in the visiting block waiting for her. And she comes in and sits down across from him. Now, he's shackled, but he's got this mind and she's got this mind, but she has been going over this plan for a long time. And she is dressed up to the nines. She is wearing her mother's watch, which is what caught his eye in the first place when he chose to kill her. He saw her in a grocery store, was jealous of her watch, followed her home, killed him. She wore it, everything to make him jealous, because he had this real inferiority complex. Very jealous of people, feeling he deserved those things. So she sits down there and she starts taunting him, and he can't believe she's like going there and saying the things. She's not afraid. She's not showing it. Well, she goes into his mind and she goes back to a time in his childhood. And he's reliving an event that she kind of is, eliciting out of him. Something he did that kind of started it, or showing his evil behavior when it really started manifesting, and it was when he killed a cat, an animal, tortured it. Well, what she did with her mind was she changed the outcome of it, where in real life, the cat didn't make it. In her recreation of this, it did. It got up and walked away, and he was freaked out. He said, "No, this isn't real. That cat didn't live." And so he's kind of pitching a fit because he knows that's not how it went. Then there's another scene that she somehow gets him to take her to, his first encounter with a girl as a late teen, and how horrible that went, and what made him want to murder this girl. Well, she changed that outcome too. And he's just like, and every flaw of his own is kind of being thrown in his face. And then it leads up to her parents' house. And it's hard for her because this is her mom and dad and she loves them, but she has gotten her mind to be so strong that she was able to control this whole vision thing in his mind. So yes, he tries to reenact, that night, but he can't do it, and he failed at his murder attempt. Anyway, through all that, he ends up just breaking mentally. I mean, his ears are bleeding, his nose is bleeding, and she calls in the detectives and the police officer, and she said, "I think he's having a stroke," because he was just shaking, and she clearly won this battle, and it's really intense. So she gets up and she leaves, and she goes out to Ty, who's waiting for her, and the two detectives, and she is weak. It was like this huge effort. And, but she broke him once and for all. He's broken. He will never be able to do that, with his mind. She broke his mind. And then, of course, she and Ty, I assume, live happily ever after. And, so it was a book of a story of good and evil, with some love story, with some, good old homey, good grandma love, that kind of thing. And so it was good. And it was a thriller in those aspects. And I like thrillers, but I have to be very careful because I don't like being scared. Sometimes if my husband is out of town and I'm scrolling on my phone, how the wormhole or the rabbit holes, if something spooky comes up, I get scared. Like if I just happen to click on, or it pops up some ghost thing, or, I've said this before, an alien thing or a Bigfoot thing, I just get all freaked out. I need unicorns and rainbows, at night. So I don't load up my mind, my weak little mind, with scary things because I'll get myself to a state of being petrified. That doesn't work for me. So I've really learned in my years to protect myself from scary things. And I used to read scary books like Stephen King And I remember when I read The Exorcist, it's like, what? But because I think I was maybe 16 or 17 when I read that. And, I was hearing things. I was hearing scratching in the walls. I was terrified. And I don't want to live like that. I don't want to invite that into my world, into my soul, into my spirit. And so I've learned, I'm keeping that out. A little suspense I can do. And this was that. And it was just enough. And with Nora Roberts, you can pretty much count on a good outcome. So how do I feel about the book? It was good. Yes, I would recommend it because it wasn't too much. And it actually, I'm glad I gave Nora Roberts this chance. Thank you, Kim, for recommending this book, because I'd kind of gone off. No, I don't do romances either. Kind of smarmy. So, anyway, that's that. So now, let's get to the candy. What candies are these, you ask? Let me show you. I was at a store and I saw these Smarties. Remember Smarties? Well, there's the original flavor. There is extreme sour. I didn't know Smarties did this. And tropical. So I thought I'll do a quick taste test and let you know. What a great excuse to buy some candy, right? So let's start with the original, kind of our baseline. I love Smarties. When the kids used to go out trick-or-treating, of course I had to check their candy bags, right? Like every parent, going through and pulling out some of the good stuff. Okay, so this is the original, and I'm eating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time, because I can't eat just one. The thing I like about Smarties, the original, I haven't tried these yet, is they have just enough little tartness and sweetness, because I'm sure they're 199.9% sugar. And they're easy to chew, or you could suck on them, but I don't suck on things. I chew right away, even hard candies. Bad for my teeth. And I like sweet tarts. I love sweet tarts. Oh, I love sweet tarts. Okay, so that was the baseline. So now let's try I pretend I can see. Okay, let's try the extreme sour. I like sour too. I love the sour gummy bears. They're so good, the sour gummy things. Okay. Oh, these are good. They're not like wincing, make your face scrunch up sour. It's like the regular, normal ones on steroids. Just boost it up. Really good. One more. Oh, that's so good. Okay, here's the tropical. You know what else I like? Starbursts. I like Starbursts too. All the flavors. See? I love them, but I don't buy them. I don't eat them. I would love to, but sugar is not good for you. Okay, let me take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pop those in my mouth. Tropical. Ugh. These aren't good. These taste like Not even wannabe tropical anything. Not good. Okay. Regulars, thumbs up. Extra sour, extreme sour, extremely good. You know why I'm having such an extreme reaction? Because I haven't had candy in a long time. Since January, I've been on kind of a really good health kick for the most part. But once in a while, so you gotta treat yourself, and not having had sugar, it's like, this is like, oh, awesome. You know what else I like? Milk duds. I love milk duds. You see, I've opened my sugar portal. Yep. Okay, I'm finishing off the extra sour. Those are excellent. And I'm glad I did that. I deserve a little treat once in a while, right? Okay, you guys, if you've gotten to this part of the video, thank you. Make sure you're still subscribed. I'll remind you in a couple more videos, but you know how YouTube is, it's weird. Make sure you're still subscribed. Because every time I say that, I get, oh golly, sometimes 20 emails saying I wasn't, and I don't know why not. So check. And if you're just a visitor, consider subscribing. It's a great ASMR family. It's a good place. It's a safe place for everyone, as long as you're nice. And even if you are a little sassy, that's okay too, because I can be too. So, thank you, Kim. The Angel on My Shoulder. The next book is Kirsten Hanna. Is it Kristen or Kirsten? Kirsten Hanna, The Women. And Kim, yeah. And so we need some more people in this group, ASMR creators, so you can be picking out books as well. So we will let you know on our community pages what's next and who's going to be picking the book and that kind of thing. It's super informal. Anyway, I totally appreciate you guys. I have some good videos coming up. This one, I'm not editing. I'm just gonna put the two pieces together where I ran out of space on my darn SD card. And that's it. I'm going to put it up tonight for y'all. I appreciate you. I wish you well. I wish you peace. I wish you love. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Mm-mm.